people come from all walks of life. They all have lives they lead. Any and all are welcome here to come and chat with me.
Hi, everyone. Last week, Chilliwack had a by-election for the position of school board trustee. There were 4 people in the running, and with me today is the winner and my friend, Dr. Carin Bondar. Carin, welcome back to the show.
Thank you, Nancy. It's always wonderful to be here with you.
Congratulations, by the way. I think it's great that you won.
Thank you. I'm thrilled. I am so excited. I'm getting meetings into my calendar and getting some documents read and studied up even as we speak.
And I don't know why, but I knew you were going to win. You know, just the feeling I had, because the day I saw you last week on Thursday, and I said, let's do an interview after you win, right?
You were such a positive force in that. I wasn't sure. I actually really had no idea how it was going to go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I can understand as a person running, I can understand that feeling. What I want to know is what made you decide to run in the first place? Like, are you sitting home bored, you know, like, hello? I don't think so.
I'm definitely a person who has a pretty full schedule usually, but I like that. That's what I thrive on, having a full schedule and lots of diverse things to do. And I, last fall when the position came up, it really did seem like a wonderful aligning of many stars. Some of those being that I am an educator with a strong background in public education. I'm a product of the public education system, and my children all 4 of them are highly ensconced in the public system. And then also another factor as well is that I generally do a lot of work overseas, and I travel a ton to get to different projects that I'm doing, or different presentations or TV shoots or whatever. And well, with COVID, that's not happening now. And that's spun itself into this wonderful opportunity to do more work at home. I love it. I love just kind of, that's how I live my life, I guess, Nancy. You probably know that because we're friends, and I like to really embrace what's happening in my life and go with it. Yeah.
Now, speaking of your children, how do they feel about you being in that position? What do they think?
They think it's really neat. The campaign itself went through some pretty wild twists and turns. And I think that for the kids, it was interesting for them to watch. They weren't super privy to a lot of the smear campaigns and stuff that happened more online, and they're not on a lot of those platforms. So that was really good. I was happy that they were apart from it. But, I can feel that they're proud. I can feel that they knew it was something that I was trying to do. And I think as a parent, we always try to mirror, at least I do, try to, start and do projects and then finish them and just show my children and my students, I guess, for that matter, just the process. This is how we do it. And I was also really prepared for me to not win, and for me to be happy to show my kids how to be okay with that and how to keep moving on with your life. I mean, that's a good thing, I guess, about having a relaxed point of view in that way, is that whatever I'm going through, I can use that as an opportunity to show my kids how to do it.
I think that's great. One thing I just want to touch on the smear campaign for just a second. Something you told me that was really interesting, that some of it you said was coming from outside of Canada.
Yeah, that's right. So I've been in the media for quite a while, and this isn't my first time, getting this kind of attention. Right. And so, yes, I know that there are people who just spend a lot of their time jumping on smear campaigns, jumping on hate-filled campaigns. And when it's happened to me before, you realize that it comes from nowhere in your immediate community generally, and it's very anonymized. And so, it's at first when it starts happening to you, it's so scary and so personally upsetting. Right. But then, when you can take a step back and see it a little bit more for what it is, and you realize this isn't even someone who's local, or it's Yeah,
Fascinating.
that happens.
It is so fascinating. Like, why anybody, for whatever reason, would just go there? You know, like I really find it difficult to understand.
I guess the biologist in me and the sociologist and the psychologist in me is fascinated by it. I
Yeah.
think it's an interesting thing, but it's an inevitable thing that happens in humanity.
Right, right.
It just is what we're like. So there you go.
Yeah, like for anybody to just not be local and whatever, just to want to cause an issue just because.
Yeah, that's right. Because we can somehow. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, changing the subject again. Now, as a school board trustee, what exactly do you do?
Yeah, so there's a wide variety of tasks that can be considered as part of the repertoire of a school trustee. A couple of things that I'm going to be jumping into right away is a bunch of training that just happens. The training is coinciding with my joining the board, and this is training in racial sensitivity and other aspects of inclusion that are relevant and necessary for the board at this time. So that'll be already next week. I'm in 3 different meetings in that for that initiative. And also it's budget time. So really working right now, we're looking towards a strategic plan for starting in the 2021 school year. And we're looking also to pass last year's budget. It's gone through 1 reading already. The second reading will be coming up this coming Tuesday. And so, yeah, I think we do a lot of different things, and there's room for some creativity and certainly some personal passions. I know for me, looks like STEM literacy and keeping all our students in science. But there's also just a lot of that busy work that I love doing that. I love just sitting quietly and reading and looking at details and sorting stuff out, writing things beautifully. I enjoy that. So be a lot of that stuff too.
Do trustees have any influence on what is taught in the schools?
Generally, no. Generally, we are not actionable on specific curriculum details. And so it'll be really, I think, refreshing that, the Chilliwack School Board can step away from any of these controversial, somewhat discussions, maybe on the SOGI learning resource and things like that, that really are not even our business to be discussing in the first place. That's for the education ministers and our specialist teachers and our professionals in that area to handle. We are there to support them in their real roles there.
Oh, I see. Okay. Because I was just thinking, like, I don't have any children or relatives in the Chilliwack school system, as far as I'm aware. But I would want to think that whoever's on the school board or whatever your influence is, that you have your kind of open mind or your kind of inclusive. What's the word I want to use?
Yeah, inclusive.
Right?
Absolutely. And I agree. And I'm glad you brought that point up, because I actually had some people contact me, and say, well, you know what, I'm not really super involved. My children have grown past the school system, or, whatever. And I think that, the public school system is central to our democracy, and whether or not your children are in the system, whether or not you're even planning to have children, it is such a centralized, important institution in our community that really everyone should have a say. And I guess I'll give that an exclamation point by drawing attention to the fact that we had over 10,000 people show up for this by-election to vote. Nancy, wow, I'm just like, that is huge that so many people in our community got out to vote. Yeah.
That's why I went. I thought it was an important thing to do. Like, it was not a pleasant day, and I was feeling kind of lazy, and I was like, oh, do I want to go out? Because I had intended to do the mail-in, and
the weather was awful.
I screwed that up. But yeah, and then I noticed that because of some of the posts that some people that I knew said they hadn't planned on going to vote. But because of that slur, that was a thing that got some of my friends and your friends out, was because of that particular thing. And they thought, no, we cannot allow that to happen and to influence the election. And I thought, but it did influence the election in a positive way. That's a great
spin on it. I agree. Yeah. I think that Chilliwack sent a very clear message with this vote, that our community is done with that. We just want to vote and exercise our right to do that without bullying, without having to worry about repercussions. It's a wonderful feeling just to think that our community is really embracing diversity and and just, free thinking, free thought, however anybody likes to do it. Let's just be happy with everybody.
Absolutely, because I'm agreeing with you fully. Like, I always think that if my children, if my nieces and nephews or any of my relatives were not straight, okay, if they had any other kind of what's their sexual orientation, that I would accept them, and I would hope that everybody in society would do the same. We know they don't, but that I think more and more people are. I think it's opening up in a positive way, and if it can happen, that influence in the schools, get to the children when they're young. Right?
Yes.
To see
exactly, to reiterate for them, to have them understand fundamentally from day one, from their earliest education, that the way they are and the way they feel is okay. Whether that, when what that looks like is secondary to the fact that they are okay. We will accept you, whatever your feelings are. That's okay. That I love that will be the new sort of approach for our school district. And as a biologist, as someone who's been working in the realm of sex and sexuality for a long time, I know that animals are very, very fluid when it comes to their own gender identities and sexual preferences. We are we are not that far apart from our closest primate relatives. And I mean, it's I guess that level of familiarity that I have with that material is something that I'm hoping I will be able to bring to the school board. It's really important. It's fundamental. It's fundamental that we understand that we're all okay.
We're all okay. Yeah. Now, on that note, now it's time to end this show. But just hang on while I say goodbye to the audience. Okay.
Sounds good.
Okay, thank you for watching, everybody. And I really hope that you actually listen to what Carin had to say. And for the next time there's an election, get out there and vote, no matter what kind of election it is, because your voice matters. I hope to see you all again. In the meantime, peace out, everyone.